Plaintiff Amber Rowe dated the defendant, and she claims he's battled drugs for the past 15 years. Amber claims her ex-boyfriend verbally abused her daily and physically abused her 3 times, once when she was pregnant. Amber's suing her ex for malicious prosecution. Defendant Joe Larson says Amber was so promiscuous that she would often bring strippers home so they could have threesomes. Joe claims she also went off with other men and women when he wasn't around, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Just to give you a little background, I've known him my whole entire life. My dad and his dad were really good friends, so we kind of grew up together. Back in 1998, we started dating when I was 18, got pregnant when I was 19, had our son in 2000. He is a extremely angry and violent person. He's battled drugs for probably 15 years.
When did you find these things out?
Well, there was a point where we didn't, we kind of grew apart, and then I moved back to the same side of town that he lived in, and so I had went to a party one night, and it was at his house, so we kind of reconnected then. He was using drugs then, too, smoking pot. And
that's the first time you saw this destructive behavior
right.
that you're
and
referring to.
I would partake in smoking pot with him when we were younger.
What did he do wrong that you didn't do?
I stopped. When I got pregnant, I stopped doing drugs, and he continued to sell and
But at
use
one
drugs.
point, everything you're saying about him, you did the same thing.
Correct.
Okay, let's move on then.
He has a history of assaulting people. I have his record here if you want it. When I was pregnant and the whole time we were dating, he was physically and verbally abusive to me. I remember one night.
Lie, Your Honor.
Quiet.
Approximately
Approximately what years was he abusive towards
the whole
you?
time that I dated him.
Did you call the police on him during those years when he was physically abusing
I
you?
tried to call the police once, and he pulled the phone cord out of the wall. I was about 8 months pregnant, and he physically sat on me and restrained me from calling the cops, ripping the phone cord out of the wall.
How often would he physically abuse you?
Maybe 3 times throughout the whole relationship, but verbally it was probably every day.
Okay.
That incident was a lie, Your Honor.
You want to give me some background on the relationship before we get to the malicious prosecution she's suing you for?
Yes, Your Honor. First off, I like to say, I'm not perfect. I'm not no angel. I've had some rough times and rough life, but, she's a very promiscuous woman. From bringing home strippers from the strip club, threesomes, to at least...
You participated in these things?
Yes, sir. And
what's the problem?
Fun while you're young.
So you got to have fun while you're young.
Your Honor, I'll admit it. I did, but you know what? I was a teenager, and I didn't have a child. I had no responsibilities. I did. I had a good time. I'm not going to lie about it.
All right.
Your Honor,
so you had a bad time?
Yeah, Your Honor, it got bad.
It was bad.
She was out
having a situation with 2 females. You felt bad about it? Made you feel bad?
No, I didn't mean that was bad. No, Your Honor.
But you mentioned that as if she was doing something wrong.
Well,
when in fact she was enhancing your life. You would probably suggest. Most men would suggest that, having 2 women at the same time, I love it. Most men, not me. Most men.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes. But it continued to be a problem, Your Honor, when she was doing it without me. She'd go off on her own, different guys plus different women. I can't tell you how many of my friends.
Your own friends?
Yes, sir.
He's
front of houses we was maybe having a party at, doing it in cars, bathrooms.
He is lying, Your Honor.
Campground, parks, public nudity. She exposed her breast, what she has at a big concert in front of thousands of people.
I'm not going to lie, Your Honor. Floating down the river at Ozfest, you flash, and that's what people do.
Before we went to...
That's what you do.
Your Honor, but before we went to the Ozfest that she's talking about, we started dating, And before we went, she said that we should put off dating until after Ozfest because no telling what's going to happen there.
Okay.
That's a
I
lie.
got your point about her lifestyle. Anything else? Did
you know,
physically or verbally abuse her frequently?
No, sir. Actually, she was the abuser. I don't know how many times I've
my
been
God.
slapped in my face, let alone spit in my face.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Ma'am, let's get to the malicious prosecution. How does he owe you?
I attended the Iowa State Fair last year on East Side Night, and people kept coming up to me saying, "Oh, do you know Big Joe's here?" And I said, "Yeah." So, they'd known the history between us, so it was kind of a big deal that he was even out at the fair. And people kept coming up to me and saying, "Well, he's telling people that you let your husband abuse you and choke your son out." And I was like, what? And so all night long, people kept approaching me. "Oh, Big Joe's here. He's saying this, saying that." Well, eventually I came in the vicinity of him. He was getting ready to fight another person that we knew. My best friend diffused that situation, stopped them from getting into a fight. And then he turned to me,
Your Honor.
and then he turned to me and said, "Oh, where's your child beaten husband?" So we started to conversate from there. It got heated. He was calling me names. I was calling him names. Due to his history of violence, my best friend literally stood in between us the whole time with their arms out. And then I had another friend.
Why didn't you walk away, ma'am?
You know what? I don't know. I think I was upset.
So what ultimately happened?
We've argued for about 10 minutes, and then we walked away from each other. I left the fair, and I never saw him after that night.
I need to know about the prosecution part now.
Okay. I was driving to work on October 9th. I got pulled over for speeding. And the sheriff was like, "I'm going to have to ask you to step out of the car." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "You have a warrant out for your arrest." And I'm like, "No."
Okay, so what did he have to do with it?
He told the police that I punched him in the face that night. And
he went and filed a report the night of the fair incident.
Yes.
Okay, and you think he did that just to get you in trouble?
Well, he did that in retaliation for for my husband not being arrested for putting his hands on my son.
Okay.
There was a DHS
Lie, Your Honor, in the
investigation.
investigation.
Good enough. Hold
Sorry.
on, sir.
Sorry.
And so what was the result of them taking you to jail?
Yep.
What happened? What was the result?
The charges were eventually dropped.
What do you mean by eventually?
They just dismissed it. I went to
Did they say why?
No. Nope.
You usually know why they dismiss, ma'am.
I don't know, Your Honor. I went to a pretrial, and then I had 2 pretrial conferences. The very last time I went, the county attorney agreed to dismiss it. Him and his attorney and my attorney spoke, and I signed a paper. And
did he come each time?
That's a lie, Your Honor. I had.
So
No.
why do you consider it malicious? Because you're saying you did nothing?
I did nothing.
You never hit him?
No.
That's what you're saying, and you think he did this as retaliation. Sir, you want to tell me about this incident? Did you file a police report against her later?
Yes, sir.
For what?
We was at the fair. She was having her friend's nephew, whatever, come over to beat me up.
About what? Quiet, ma'am. You said your side. Beat you up about what?
He come over and he told me, he said something about, "Oh, you used to be the big dog on the block, but I am now." Then his uncle came over and started to diffuse it. Then I believe, since she said she was upset, she just come run over there and blindsided me, hit me in my face. Turned around, it was her. Her girlfriend instantly jumped in between us. And for the whole 20 minutes we were sitting there arguing, her girlfriend was in between us. And, at first I started to reason with her. Why would you let my son live in an abusive house?
How long after that incident did you go to the police?
We still argued for a good 10 minutes, and then
that night?
I left the fair, picked up my girlfriend. It was about midnight.
Did you go that night?
No, Your
Yes,
Honor.
sir. I called the police
Did you
that
have
night.
a police report?
Yes, sir.
And you told them all of this?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you had bruises, you say?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
You have any pictures of those bruises?
No, they said I couldn't get a copy for 3 to 5 weeks
let's see.
from the police.
And so why was it dismissed to your knowledge?
Your Honor, I really felt bad for it being my son's mom, and I really felt bad.
Okay.
I didn't like her going to
This
jail.
police report says they saw injuries on him. They say they saw the bruises.
Your Honor, This incident happened at 10:30 at night. He didn't call the cops until 2 o'clock in the morning. There are tons and tons of police at the fair.
Okay, so you think something else may have happened to him to cause this bruise that the police saw?
Your Honor, I'll take a lie detector test. I did not touch this man. I was mad, but I'm not stupid.
All right, but they charged you. Whenever you're charged, that's because the prosecutor believes that there is a probable cause to believe you did it. It was dismissed because he didn't show up, but they certainly wouldn't have taken you to 2 preliminary exams if they didn't believe you did it.
Your Honor,
counterclaim for 20. Ma'am, I've heard enough. What's that?
I have witness statements.
No, I'm gonna go with the police.
Your Honor, could I?
Your Honor, I never touched him.
I'm sorry.
I was never interviewed by the police.
I'm gonna go with the police, and I'm gonna go with the prosecutor. The prosecutor believes you did it.
But I never touched him.
I know, but I'm going to go with them if you don't mind.
I do mind.
Okay, well, your minding doesn't make a difference at all. It means 0. All right? What I say and what I mind means everything. All right? You understand that?
I do.
Good.
Your Honor.
Something like you do mind.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Your counterclaim, $2,500 for emotional distress is for what?
She actually called me up saying she's gonna ruin times with my son. She kind of lenient.
Did you go to the judge that has jurisdiction and complain?
No, sir.
All right, that's what you have to do first, because I promise you she's going to deny it.
Sure.
And so what you'd have to do is go and file a complaint with a judge that has jurisdiction, that has the ongoing case, and say, Judge, find her in contempt. And because she is not obeying the order that allows me to see my son. Both of your claims are dismissed. I believe that you did it as the prosecutor believed that you hit him. Have a good day.
I don't know why you got to put our son in the middle of this stuff and threaten me less time with him and all that stuff.
Piece of
Ridiculous. Ooh, nice mouth. That just says how classy you are.
All right. He's a lying piece of crap. And everybody that was at the fair that night knows that I never touched him.
I don't need to badmouth my son's mother more than I already have, what she's glamour whored herself as to be here.
And that's what kind of person he is right there.
To not
that
say
tells
anything?
you anything.
Yes.
Everybody knows what kind of person he is, what kind of dad he is. He's a big piece of crap, and
At least I don't beat my son, grab him by his neck, drag him across the room, and then
wasn't me.
Lie about it and let it happen, make him live in terror.
Still with him.
Wasn't me.
Still with him.